Wild Running, Chapter 3. Pick a date, Sam told Anya casually. They were sitting on horseback out in the field, watching the sunset on one of the nicest days they'd had for weeks, while Dancer and Marble grazed beneath them. May the 10th, she replied readily. Why? He dug into his pocket and tossed a tiny box to her. She snatched it deftly out of the air, and her breath caught in her throat as she stared at it. Is this what I think it is? She asked in awe. Will you marry me, Anya? He asked, sincerity and hope in his deep brown eyes on his handsome face. Tears filled her eyes, and she opened the lid, could barely see the ring through the blur of tears. Of course I will. She swiped at the tears and slipped the ring onto her finger, admired it before turning to glare at him. You had to ask me on horseback so you couldn't get down on one knee, huh? She accused with more amusement than ire. He laughed, more with relief than humor, though he felt both as he ran his hands through his brown hair in a relieved gesture. Absolutely. So we're getting married May 10th, she asked. That's our day, honey, he told her, and reached out to hold her hand, raised it to his lips, and kissed it with a tenderness she'd never got tired of. But that's 6 months away. It's too long, she insisted. I agree. How about we elope tonight and have the ceremony then for Tori's sake, he suggested hopefully. As much as I'd like to, Tori would hunt us down and shoot you. In that case, whenever you want is fine by me, Sam told her. Anya laughed at him. Sam swung his leg over Dancer's rump and dismounted. He pulled Anya down from her horse and into his arms. I have something to tell you, Sam said against her lips. What's that? Anya asked breathlessly. I love you. The same emotion filled Anya with a force that still knocked her off her feet, even after months of feeling it and hearing it. I love you too, she said, closing the distance between their lips. Anya wanted the kiss to last forever, but Marble's impatient snort and shuffling had her pulling away with a sigh. Come on, let's head back. If I don't tell Tori right away, she may still kill us. Sam chuckled and deftly mounted Dancer. They rode back to the barn and efficiently put away their horses before going up to the house. Tori, Anya yelled as soon as she got in the door. What's wrong? Tori replied as she thundered down the stairs as quickly as her legs could carry her. Anya didn't reply, just held up her left hand with a giant grin on her face. Tori's eyes nearly burst out of her head, and she flung herself at both of them. Congratulations, she blubbered as emotion overwhelmed her, tears of joy streaking down her face. I'm beyond thrilled. She punched Sam in the arm. About time, she told him. Hey, I got around to it. In your own roundabout way, Anya added with amused knowledge. Sam wasn't one to jump into things. He was a steady worker, a steady thinker, and couldn't be rushed into anything he wasn't ready for. It thrilled her that he was ready to marry her. Exactly, he agreed. Tori shook her head. You guys are perfect for each other. That's what I'm saying. Anya laughed and hugged them both again, unable to contain her joy. She was getting married to the man she loved in just a few short months. She could hardly wait. Courtney Tyler was a strong-willed, slightly wild young woman. She showed up at the ranch one day with nothing more in hand than an overstuffed duffel bag and a bag of potato chips. She arrived a day later than expected. Where were you guys? I had to catch a cab, she said, dropping her duffel by the door and giving her cousin the expected hug. She was a little uncomfortable, having never met Anya before, but like most things, she took it in stride. Courtney, you told me you'd be here Friday. That was yesterday, Anya replied with a smile, returning the hug. Courtney grinned, unrepentant. Oops. Come on, I'll show you to your room, Anya invited, and hefted Courtney's bag. She led her to the small purple bedroom on the ground floor, newly decorated with a single bed, nightstand, deep blue rug with purple woven through it to match the carpet and drapes, wardrobe and lamp. They had been using the room for storage, but decided it would be better suited as a spare bedroom. Most of the boxes had been moved upstairs to another empty room. Courtney looked around and smiled. This is great. I was expecting to have something more the size of a closet, but this is spacious, she enthused as she sat on the bed and bounced a few times. Anya couldn't help smiling at Courtney's antics. Glad you like it. You're welcome to stay for as long as you want. So where's this fiancé of yours I keep hearing about? Even the taxi driver knew about you two. The engagement had been announced in the paper, and their town was small. He's out in the fields repairing a portion of fencing that went down in the windstorm we had last night, Anya informed her. Figures. You guys ever go out and have fun? Anya laughed. We have our moments. Take some time to get settled in. Make yourself a home. There's usually coffee in the kitchen next door, she said, indicating the direction. If you need anything, there's usually someone around. What are you going to be doing? I have to go out and get some training done while the weather is cooperating. Courtney nodded. Okay, I can find my way around. Great, I'll see you later. Anya flashed another quick smile and went out, her mind already on the work ahead of her. It didn't take long for Courtney to unpack her meager possessions and change from her slacks and blouse to a pair of jeans and a light sweater. She wanted to explore, so she wandered through the house, poking her head into all the rooms. The kitchen was huge and fancy, and she poured herself a cup of coffee and helped herself to a muffin she found in a basket on the island. She took a big bite as she continued past the bathroom and into the living room. She took a sip of coffee as she took it in. Hardwood floors, big screen TV, expensive-looking couches. She'd hit the jackpot. They even had an awesome sound and gaming system complete with giant speakers on the other side of the TV. She continued to the next room, a bedroom clearly lived in. It was big with a double bed that looked like men's clothes on the floor. Next was a storage closet, laundry room, and the foyer. So she went up the stairs to see what else there was. Already the house was overwhelming to her. How did two women afford such luxury? It wasn't fair. She had nothing now, no one. Well, that wasn't true. She had her cousin, who was apparently more than able to provide for her, while she figured out her next steps. Upstairs were two clearly feminine bedrooms with a bathroom in between, a couple more storage closets and a storage room, an office, and two bedrooms with attached bathrooms that didn't appear used. She went back down to the kitchen to deposit her empty mug in the sink, tossed the muffin wrapper in the garbage, and went outside to take a look around the grounds. As she was coming to expect, everything was immaculate. The barn to the right of the house was shiny and looked new, and most of the stalls weren't occupied, so she quickly grew bored and wandered over to the other, bigger barn across from the house. Immediately, a horse poked its head over the stall door, and she wandered over to it. There was a name tag on the door. "Hi there, Sleet," she greeted the lovely gray mare. She patted the horse between the eyes and continued to the next stall. "Marble, huh?" she said, admiring the flaxen-maned chestnut. She stroked her hand along the white blaze and got nudged for her efforts. She laughed softly and rubbed the velvety soft space between the nostrils. It didn't take long for her to be enchanted with the horses. She hadn't spent a lot of time with them before, but she was quickly falling in love with the majestic animals. They were all so friendly and beautiful. "You don't want to get too close to that one. He nearly bit my hand off the other day," an amused voice said from behind her as she was approaching the last stall that still had a horse in it. Courtney whirled around and studied the man behind her. Appealing, very appealing. He had a great face and sparkling blue eyes, naturally highlighted sandy brown hair, and sun-bronzed skin. He was lean, wiry, but she could see the outlines of muscles beneath his fitted sweater. "Shows what you know," she said, patting the horse on the nose without repercussion. He smiled, showing a flash of even white teeth. "You just got lucky." "Do you work here? What's your name?" she asked. "Sean Wright, at your service," he answered with a nod. "That's my horse, Jester, you're patting," he informed her. "Courtney Tyler, Anna's cousin," she replied, holding out her hand. He accepted her hand in a brisk shake and winked at her. "I figured. You two have a few features in common," he pointed out, indicating her auburn hair and green eyes. Even their facial features were similar enough that they could easily pass as sisters. She shrugged. "I'm taller." Sean grinned again. "If you'll excuse me," he said, pointing, "I need my horse." She blinked and immediately stepped aside. "Sorry." He just smiled and opened the sliding door, slipping a halter over the bay's head in a smooth practice move. "Hey, Sean, what's taking so long?" Sam said as he entered the barn. He paused when he saw Courtney. "You must be Courtney. I'm Sam," he introduced himself, holding out his hand. "The fiancé," she deduced with a smile. "Nice to meet you, Sam." Courtney replied. She could see why her cousin liked the man, with his warm brown eyes, dark hair, and rugged features. He was definitely a cuddly teddy bear, and she liked him on sight. His palm was hard and callous as it gripped hers, and she immediately rethought her cuddly teddy bear opinion. He was a lot tougher than she'd originally assumed. "Anya's out front doing some training if you want to watch," he suggested. "Sounds good. I might just do that," Courtney replied. "I'd actually like to learn how to ride while I'm here. I know you don't offer lessons, but I figure I can get away with pulling family strings." Sam grinned. "No doubt Anya would be thrilled to teach you anything you want to know," he assured. He turned to Sean and made a hurry-it-up gesture. Sean quickly finished brushing Jester and lightly tossed the western saddle onto the horse's back, adjusting and cinching it with quick, experienced efficiency. "Let's go then," he said as he pulled off Jester's halter in exchange for his bridle, and started out of the barn with his horse in tow. "About time," Sam replied, following Sean out of the barn and mounting his own horse. Courtney watched them go, appreciating the easy camaraderie between the two men. When they were gone, the hoofbeats fading, she strolled down to the end of another aisle and found herself looking out over a fenced pasture and a couple of corrals. Spotting Anya riding around one of them, she walked in that direction and took up a position along the fence, propping her foot up on the rail and resting her arms higher up so she could relax while she watched. Anya sat low in the saddle, allowing Superstar to take her effortlessly through the routine of the barrels. He was fast and balanced and carved around them with a grace and speed that had her grinning. After they rounded the last barrel, Anya whooped as Superstar raced flat out to the other end of the corral. Noting Courtney on the sidelines, she guided Superstar over and halted him next to her cousin. "What'd you think?" she asked. Courtney was startled. I don't really know anything about horses, but he's very pretty, she said with a smile as she patted the handsome piebald. You stick around here long enough and you'll learn, Anya promised. She dismounted and led Superstar through the gate. Here, take the reins and you can lead him to the barn and I'll show you how to groom him. Courtney accepted the reins as though she'd just been given a trophy and led the gelding toward the barn with the tentative steps of someone who wasn't sure what to expect from the big beast following her like a puppy. She hadn't expected Anya to accept her so readily, to trust her with a horse that looked very expensive. Of course, she didn't know much about horses, but she found she wanted to learn. She stood, feeling awkward, in the aisle until Anya caught up. What am I supposed to do with him? She asked. Anya grinned, appreciating the interest in Courtney's voice, the hand gently stroking his face. Let me show you. Tori was busy whipping cream when Sean entered through the kitchen door. What are you doing? He asked. Tori looked up and frowned at his expression. What do you mean? I mean, what are you doing in my kitchen? Your kitchen? She asked, her voice a bit too sweet, brows raised. He waved a dismissive hand. You know what I mean. I need to get started on supper. Tori shrugged. Good thing there's so much room in here. We might just manage to work together. Sean snorted and washed his hands and arms in the sink. What are you making? Chocolate cream pies. He immediately began salivating and quickly swallowed as he opened the fridge. Sure enough, there was a big bowl of chocolate filling adorning one of the shelves. What are you planning to make? She asked. I was thinking spaghetti, he said, and pulled some ingredients out of the fridge. So easy, she laughed at him. Hey, my spaghetti is fantastic, and I'm also making garlic bread. Still easy. He threw a dish rag at her, and it hit her smack in the forehead. He was bent over laughing when she stalked over to him and flung a dollop of whip in his face. How do you like me now, funny boy? She demanded. Sean scooped it off his cheek and lifted off his finger. He pinned her with a look that promised retribution and started towards her. Instantly contrite, Towery stepped back and put her bowl and whisk on the counter, held up her hands in surrender. It was just whipping cream, she said, backing away warily. He didn't answer, just continued towards her, stalking her with that menacing look on his face. It should have been ruined by his shaggy surfer dude hair, but the glitter in his eyes made up for it. Okay, I'm sorry. Will you just go back to your cooking now? She asked, becoming desperate to slow him down. Her heart was racing, and she knew that nothing she said would stop him from his decided course of action. It was not knowing what that was that had fear and excitement racing through her bloodstream. Suddenly he lunged forward and picked her up by the waist and flung her over his shoulder in a fireman's carry. Laughing, she pounded on his back. Put me down, Sean, she gasped. He rushed her through the hallway into the living room and, bending, dropped her onto the brand new couch. He braced himself over her, his arms pinning her down, and looked her dead in the eye. Have you learned your lesson? He asked. He meant to be menacing, but there was far too much laughter in his tone. She narrowed her eyes at him and wrinkled her nose. Never, she declared, laughing again. And then he kissed her. All laughter ceased, and she froze in shock for a heartbeat, too. Then she wound her arms around his neck and kissed him back. A throat clearing loudly in the doorway had them jumping apart like teenagers. So, how's dinner coming along? Blake asked.